Located on West 72nd Street in Manhattan, the 19th Century Dakota building is one of New York's most exclusive residences, and has been a magnet for the rich and famous since it opened in 1884. But despite its opulence, it has a mysterious and tragic past, and it's long been believed the place is cursed. Here we look at the creepy and sometimes heartbreaking events that are linked to this iconic and haunted building. Hit those lights, sit back, and enjoy. Deaths at the Dakota. Perhaps the most well-known death at the Dakota was that of John Lennon, the former Beatle, who on the evening of December 8, 1980, was fatally shot in the archway of the Dakota, his residence at the time. The perpetrator was Mark Chapman, who fired 5 hollow-point bullets into the back of Lennon, 4 of which hit him. Despite efforts to save him, Lennon had zero chance of survival. Lennon's death was probably the biggest shock to the world since the assassination of JFK. However, he was not the first death closely associated with the Dakota building. Its first victim was its original owner, way back in 1882. His name was Edward Clark, who was the founder of the Singer Sewing Machine Company. Clark spent $1 million to have the Dakota built in the 1880s. He even had a special apartment built for his family that included sterling silver floors. But sadly, he never got to live in it, as 2 years before the building was completed, he died, becoming the Dakota's first victim. Then there was Russian composer Peter Tchaikovsky, who sought permission to move into his apartment before the rest of the building work was completed. But sadly, he didn't have long to enjoy his new luxury surroundings, because he died shortly after in mysterious circumstances at the age of 53. His cause of death is up for debate. Some say it was from cholera after drinking unboiled water at a restaurant, while others believe he committed suicide. Another well-known celebrity, the actress Judy Holliday, spent the last years of her life at the Dakota in apartment number 77 before she died of cancer in 1965 at the age of just 43. Other celebrities who met untimely deaths who had links to the building were Judy Garland, who lived there, and Marilyn Monroe, who did a photo shoot there. However, as well as the deaths of residents, there is also the curse of Rosemary's Baby that used the exterior of the building in the film. Our video on haunted film sets will give you lots more information on that one. But despite the numerous tragedies linked with the building, perhaps the biggest risk to the residents lives when the place was built, when the decision taken by the head architect, Henry J. Ardenberg, who decided not to incorporate fire escapes into the design of the building. Instead, he used fireproofing methods, such as putting mud between the brick flooring layers. And with 10 floors and 103 apartments, this was a potential life-threatening decision. Although it didn't seem to deter potential residents, because for 45 years after it opened, the building had 0 vacancies. And even today, only the chosen few are allowed to live there, and even celebrities such as Madonna and Billy Joe have been rejected by the building's super selective board. The Crying Lady and the Young Girl. Now, with all the deaths linked to the Dakota, it's no surprise the place is riddled with paranormal activity and ghosts, and one of these is known as the Crying Lady, an apparition that has been spotted numerous times, and one even John Lennon claimed to have seen when he lived in the building. It was Lennon himself that named her the Crying Lady. Allegedly, she can be seen walking the halls of the building and is thought to be the ghost of Elise Vesley, the former manager of the Dakota, who works there between the 1930s and 50s. It's said that in life, she was into all things paranormal and believed she had psychokinetic powers. But after she suffered the loss of her son, who was killed when he was hit by a truck outside the Dakota, her personality changed and she was never the same again. She became unusually nice to everyone and was also very protective of the children that lived in the building. And many believe she carried this protection on after her death and still patrols the halls of the Dakota to make sure all the children are safe. It's said that Elise may also be linked to another ghost known as the Young Girl, who has been seen bouncing a red ball down the halls and is often seen entering or exiting closets. The young girl was first spotted by painters who described her as wearing a yellow dress that nearly matched her blonde hair.